As Toyota say, embodying the iconic sports cars, including the 2000 GT, the AE86, and now this GR86. This is the last of its kind. Might it be an electric on its way in? Gazoo Racing. Toyota is really pushing this performance label of their cars. It's the Supra GR, it's the GR Yaris, it's the Corolla GR, and now this one, GR86. And the Toyota chief engineer Yasunori Zuezawa says that there will be no other GR models that will follow. And when you set off and start feeling how connected the steering is to the surface and to the inputs and the reactions of the car, it really shows how eager it is. There has been a lot of improvements in this car from its predecessor, the GT86. So let's start off with the engine. Earlier, this was a 2-liter engine producing a little under 200 horsepower. This one is 2.4 liter now. It's a boxer engine, so it's mounted low for low center gravity, and it produces a lot more torque, a lot lower in the rev band than before, which suits the car a lot better. It has really grown up, and this is what the fans out there has been waiting for, because the power in the earlier version, the GT86, it was all right, but it wasn't enough. Now you got this torque band, and you can play a lot more in third gear if you want. And it says Toyota and Subaru, because the Subaru BRZ, it's practically the same car. The front end is really, really pointy at the road, while the rear end is very loose and lively. So it's so much fun, this car. With this new horizontally opposed flat 4-cylinder 2.4 liter engine with 235 horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque, starting at 3,700 RPM. This becomes a completely different car from its predecessor. Now this is an entry-level sports car. It hasn't got that much power, and when you stand along other sports cars nowadays, standard measurements of these in horsepower and everything is, 300 horsepower plus at least. You need to get into this car and drive it to really prove people that this is a driver's machine. Because when it turns in this well as it does, it just becomes more exciting than anything else. The design. At first glance, I think the proportions are really, really nice. I like this little sports car. I think it looks really well balanced. And I also think it's a mix of a Honda NSX, a bit from the back. It looks a bit like the Jaguar F-Type here in the front when you look at it from the side. And also in its compact way, like a Nissan 370Z. And these are good looking cars. And I also like these attributes. It's a bit more muscular, a bit more robust. And with its side skirt, the intakes and the outlets behind the wheel, and this front intake here, together with these new designed headlamps, just make it look a bit more like a classic sports car. It's not too much. In many cars, they just put on different plastic fins and fake inlets, outlets, sidelets, whatever you want to call it, to make it really aggressive. But this one is just clean, nice, and honest. I really think it looks good. Wow, this car, it turns around and it can drift extremely well, but with such ease and with such balance. It's naked, it's just pure, and there's no blip or something here that you need, when you gear down. There's no rev match, no automatic rev match or something like that. You need to heel and toe and really meet the revs and the gears and match it to get the right character on it. And it pulls rather well. It's a bit like with its competitor, I think the closest rival competitor is the Mazda MX-5, but you need to spec that up a bit more. But it's very pointy, this one, and so light in its rear end. You want to switch everything off because you want to have full control. You don't want any systems to step in because you will lose that joy. It's so easy. When it starts to slide, you can just correct it with a fingertip of a touch. It's so easy. Time to set a lap time. It's 0 degrees, but it's dry, and we got the winter tires. Let's see what this car can do here at our track. If you like our car reviews, then subscribe and like. You got these big exhausts, and the thing about big exhausts from the outside is that they have a tiny one inside, but in this one, it's pretty all right. It's pretty big. The trunk, you push that little button here, and you got a trunk, which is all right. It's not that small. The only problem here is that the opening is not that big. So yeah, you can't put in too wide stuff in here. You have to shove them in, and you can do that because you can fold the rear seats, and then you can shove a lot of stuff in here, so that's pretty convenient. The interior in this car is updated as well, and you get rather familiar when you step in. It's very dark, it's very plastic, it's very Toyota-like. So if you're a Toyota owner or you've been having a Toyota before, yeah, you're right at home. I would like some lighter colors though, because I think it brightens up the day. But this is what you get. You push the GR button and you get this new cluster. It spins a bit. It's a bit new graphic here as well. So that's a bit fun. And you get this round rev counter, very sporty. You can push the track here and you get a horizontal rev counter. You also get your tachometer here on the left. You see the average of your consumption, how far you have until you need to refuel. And on the right side you got your temperatures of the car and also how much fuel you got left. I like the cluster here, and I like that there's not that much information that you get more than the most important one. In so many cars nowadays, manufacturers really want to push and cramp in that much tech and stuff and settings that you almost get totally dizzy. Here, it's just clean, nice, and you don't need to be distracted by a lot of things to set or to adjust. I like that. The steering wheel, it's a bit thin. It's a bit too thin, I think. I like the Porsche steering wheels, which are thin, but this one is almost a bit too thin. So it's in the beginning, it's a bit different when you're swinging it around. You would like to have a bit thicker one, even though you got a very good grip when you're sitting here. Even though I don't think it looks that good. You got the buttons here to change your sound and your source and your phone and all of that, so that's convenient, but it's very clean in here. There's not that much that distracts you from the thing that you want to do, and that is to drive. You got a new updated multimedia system here as well. It works all right. It's pretty, sharp in its response. The graphics are, well, nothing to, brag about really. It looks very dismal. You got Apple CarPlay, you got Android Auto, and there's no built-in navigation, so you use that through your phone and that system. So that is all right. And we get down to this level here. We got the temperature knobs, and they are very good. Good to the feel. You hear how they click. Big digits, which are very clear to see and understand. I like that. And then you step down another row and you got some buttons here for your air conditioning. But then you step down to these silver gray buttons down here. they feel like they have been picked out of some child's toy to the feel and how they look. Just put in some older buttons from Toyota's shelves, because I think that, you know, they don't look good to look at, but at the same time, you don't look at them. You look at the road, and that's where you are. Something that I like that gives me some memories back to older Toyotas. This is as classic as it can be. I really like that they embrace it and put in these and don't do any spacey stuff with it. You know, the buttons for the heated seats. Listen. You know, it can't go wrong. This is as physical as it gets. Really good, that one. You got this gear lever here, 6-speed. It's all right. It's a bit jerky, I think. It's not that compliant, but it works. Yeah, and the design here is a bit new as well. Very sporty when it's pretty high up, and you got these turbine-looking outlets for the ventilation. You got some cup holders. It's just one thing here. When you relax and when you lean your shoulder here, you open it accidentally. Oh, no, I don't, but you know, I've opened it a lot of times. But that's good. You got some USBs here as well. You also got some Alcantara up here and some Alcantara up here to make it look a bit sporty and cool. The seats, very soft, very comfortable, and they keep you in place. But here's the thing. I can't get down further than this. It's not that bad, it's all right, but there's one thing that makes it bad, and that is I can't push the wheel further up. I want to have it further up because it feels like you're having it not in your knee, but almost. And when you want to swing it around effectively and have control, you want to have it a bit higher up. So they could have done something about that. Apart from that, it's rather good. The back seat is, it's difficult even for kids to sit back there. The clutch is rather short, so you really need to figure out how to play along with it. You can do quick changes, but I think that the gearbox is a bit jerky. It doesn't really, you know, fall into place as swiftly as I would like. And the torque band in this car is between 3 and 5,000 RPM. What I like is that you can putter around in third gear because it got that punch, that enough punch of torque. And then you just get up to perfect speed and you can control it. You don't need to shift that much because this is not a speed machine. It doesn't do more than 225 kilometers an hour, and it's not meant for that as well. So when you're on a motorway, tuck it down and you can rev it out all the way to 7,500 RPM. Oh, it pushes on rather good. 0 to 100. It is dealt with in 6.3 seconds. That is not that fast really, but in a car like this, it just becomes a lot more alive and a lot more fun. So everything just feels more than plenty enough. You just want to see what type of bend is that, what type of corner is that, you know, what type of curvy roads are these? Let's just attack them. There need to be people that have respect for sports cars, that knows what this type of car is, because an entry-level sports car like this, due to its power output and all of that, you can compare it in a drag race or something like that. You compare it with the amount of joy that it gives you. That's just it. And that driving pleasure of taking those turns in very special ways and how to dose that acceleration to get out of it. That's what this car is all about. Even though it isn't fast around the track than any other similar car with just a little more horsepower, that's not the thing. That's not the point. This car is just made to make you smile, and I think it's one of the most enjoyable cars I've been driving for a while, actually.